You know that feeling when a story just grabs you, pulls you right in, but then maybe it makes you squirm a little, feel a bit uncomfortable, or maybe you've been on your own winding journey, life throwing you curveballs, those unexpected detours, and you've wondered, does anyone else really get this? This, like, beautiful chaos of trying to reinvent yourself. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are jumping headfirst into the world of KJ. She's a truly remarkable author, someone who isn't afraid to explore these very human, sometimes really uncomfortable experiences. We're going to journey through her distinctive literary universe. We'll focus on her latest book, get into her unique narrative style, and really unpack the profound emotional impact her stories have on readers, on you. We'll look at how she builds these narratives that just resonate so deeply, how her books actually climb those bestseller lists, which is fascinating in itself, and crucially why the sometimes really hard-hitting emotional responses to her series, Beautiful Men, are absolutely central to her whole artistic vision. It's kind of audacious, really. So our mission today, let's peel back the layers of KJ's writing. We've got her personal memoirs, which are more like guides for self-discovery, and her super heartwarming tales about rescue pups. Hilarious sometimes. And then, her acclaimed Beautiful Men series. We're going to dig into why she chooses to embrace discomfort in her storytelling and what that choice really means for you, the reader, as you try to understand love, longing, and, all the messy, beautiful, sometimes embarrassing parts of ourselves. Get ready. We're exploring an author who's making waves precisely because she dares to be real, showing us the truths we often prefer to, keep hidden. Okay, let's unpack this. KJ. Yeah, she's definitely more than just an author. I mean, the term literary chameleon really fits, doesn't it?
It really does. She wears so many hats. It's quite something to see how she shifts between these really distinct forms. You've got the deep, introspective memoirs, right?
Yeah.
These charming illustrated kids series. And then she pivots to this raw, psychologically intense contemporary fiction.
It's that range.
Exactly. That ability to inhabit so many different narrative skins, it just enriches everything she does. It lets her connect with readers on this incredibly broad spectrum, often in ways you just don't expect.
And looking at her about the author info, it's interesting how she presents herself. It's not just novelist.
No, not at all. And that's a key part of her appeal, I think. It paints this picture of someone really relatable, really warm. She calls herself a blogger, a novelist, a dreamer, and maybe the most endearing bit, a devoted dog mom.
Right, the dog mom part, it feels genuine.
It does. It's not just a biographical footnote. It feels foundational. It hints that her stories aren't just, plucked from thin air. They feel like they're born from a life that's been fully lived, deeply felt, and then bravely shared with all of us.
So her personal philosophy, it's not just sitting in the background. It seems like it's woven right into the fabric of how she creates. It's more than just writing. It's a whole process.
Oh, absolutely. It's intrinsically linked. She's actually said her writing often starts from her own experiences, acting as a kind of cathartic process for her.
Okay, catharsis, that makes sense.
But here's where it gets really interesting and kind of transformative. She says this personal exploration then evolves into an interactive tool guiding readers towards self-discovery.
An interactive tool.
Well, yeah.
Wow. So it's not just us reading her story.
Exactly. Think of it like an invitation. A shared journey, not just us observing her life. She's basically creating this safe, reflective space for you, the reader, to sort of map your own life, your own stories, alongside hers as you read.
That's quite profound, actually, moving beyond just telling a story to offering a path for growth.
Precisely. It shows this real desire for her work to have a lasting personal impact. It's not just entertainment. It's meant to connect on a much deeper level.
That idea, turning story into a tool for self-discovery, that sounds like it really shines through in her debut series, Diary of Clichés. How does that actually work in those books? Does she, tackle common life cliches head on?
That's exactly it. It's described as no ordinary memoir. It's framed not just as looking back, but as a deep dive into personal experiences. Really a story of personal transformation.
Okay.
So she chronicles her own trials and triumphs, in relationships, emotional well-being, personal growth. But the insightful part is how she deals with these cliches.
Right. How?
Well, instead of just, say, recounting a breakup, she might dissect the societal expectation around it that made it feel like a cliche. The pressure to bounce back instantly, or the idea that relationships have to follow this perfect linear path.
Okay. So she exposes the script we're all sort of handed.
Exactly. She might show how recognizing that script, that cliche, is actually the first step to reclaiming your own story from those external pressures. That's where the self-discovery happens. Not just recounting events, but reframing them, making them yours.
So for us, the listeners, it's like permission to see our own messy lives, not just as events, but as potential stories for insight, connection.
Exactly. It encourages you to find the extraordinary in what might look like just ordinary life patterns. It's about finding your unique narrative within those universal experiences.
It's fascinating how she can go so deep into that personal introspection, but then she also does this complete U-turn almost into this whimsical but still really heartfelt genre with The Adventures of Sully the Rescue Pup. That seems like a huge leap stylistically.
It does, doesn't it? But it's a wonderful testament to her versatility. And somehow it still feels like her.
How does she keep that personal touch, that connection across such different kinds of work?
Well, this illustrated series, it's not just cute dog stories. She explicitly calls it her love letter to the beautiful mess that is rescue parenting. I love that phrase.
Beautiful mess. Yeah, that sounds about right for rescue parenting.
Totally. And it details the whole whirlwind journey with Sally. The chaotic first weekend in a hotel room, can you imagine? Then this incredible globe-spanning crate ride, literally across continents. And now their wild city adventures in places like San Francisco and Mumbai.
Wow.
The imagery she uses just blends humor and heart so well. It shows that the core emotional truth she's always exploring can take so many different forms. It doesn't always have to be heavy introspection.
Sally sounds like quite the character. Can you give us a specific story, like a classic Sally moment that really captures that mischievous spirit, but also shows how those disasters lead to growth and love, something that makes you laugh?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many, but one that always gets me and perfectly shows that blend of humor and meaning is The Great Escape from the San Francisco doggy daycare.
Uh-oh, I can sense trouble brewing.
Right. Picture this. Sally, just a few weeks after arriving, he finds this loose plank in the fence, nudges it open with his nose, stages a full-on breakout.
No way.
Yes. And then he apparently recruits a little gang of other bored pups, leads them on this chaotic tour of a nearby park, leaving behind chewed frisbees, bewildered dog walkers, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my gosh, leader of the pack.
Totally. And KJ writes about the chaos. The frantic phone calls, the panic search, finally capturing Sally leading his little army back towards the daycare, looking completely pleased with himself.
That's hilarious.
It is. It's laugh out loud funny. But then KJ subtly shifts. She reflects on how even in that little disaster, there's this undeniable charm, this deep, unconditional love that only a character like Sally can bring. It perfectly nails her message that even the most unexpected companions can change your life forever.
Ah, see, there it is. The deeper meaning.
Exactly. It teaches about resilience, patience, finding joy in the chaos. It just highlights her skill infusing even lighthearted stories with real emotional weight. Her voice works for so many types of stories, all rooted in genuine feeling, whether it's deep thought or just pure chaotic joy.
So building on that idea of finding meaning in chaos, her latest book about life choices and potholes, When Plans Fail, Life's Detours, Dreams, and Letting Go, which just came out August 31st, 2025. That sounds like it takes that self-discovery journey and applies it directly to the sheer messiness of modern life.
It really does. This book is like a masterclass in turning personal chaos into something deeply relatable. What's brilliant is how she takes her very specific, sometimes quite dramatic experiences and just makes them feel universal.
How so?
Well, it's described as a roller coaster ride through the misadventures of reinvention, career pivots, family chaos, and the existential crises that come with it all. That description alone, it's not just a memoir, it's digging into modern life's twists and turns with this honesty that's just refreshing and maybe a bit disarming.
And her own background sets the stage for that, right? The whole engineer to, what was it, herb seller?
Exactly. She talks about going from software engineer, dealing with corporate life, rejection emails, all that, to suddenly plotting how to sell holistic herbs on Amazon. I mean, that pivot alone, it speaks volumes about that journey so many of us face. Adapting, taking risks, asking, is this it? Or what if I just tried something totally different?
Yeah, that what if question is huge. And making a big change like that, especially if it's not the expected path, often brings a whole load of external pressure, doesn't it? Family, society.
Oh, absolutely. And KJ tackles that head on. Very candidly. She talks about the pressure from her dad, an old school engineer who believed real engineers built bridges, not wrote lines of code.
Oof. Yeah, I can imagine that conversation.
Right. It's not just her personal story. It highlights that classic generational clash about what counts as a successful career. And then there's the broader societal thing, the dreaded, so you lived abroad, now what? Question.
Yes. The expectation that your life should fit into neat boxes.
Exactly. And when it doesn't, these details are incredibly relatable. They tap into those universal struggles of defining yourself outside expectations, the quiet anxiety of forging your own path. She gives voice to the stuff we often don't talk about when we stray from the script.
Her life sounds like a gold mine for material. Can you take us into one of those specific potholes she talks about, like that crazy scramble for a U.S. tourist visa you mentioned? What was that like?
Okay, yeah, the visa scramble, it's such a perfect example of her turning chaos into insight. So she's in India, right? Kind of rethinking her life. Then boom, surprise phone call. Huge opportunity in the US. Needs to be there immediately. A tourist visa is the only shot on short notice.
Stressful.
Totally. So imagine KJ grappling with this huge pressure, this sudden, potentially life-changing thing thrown into the notoriously complex Indian visa system. She describes scrambling across India. And it wasn't just travel. It was a bureaucratic nightmare.
Oh, I bet. Endless paperwork, weird rules.
Exactly. Sudden changes in requirements, endless queues in the heat, confusing websites crashing, and that constant fear that one tiny mistake could just derail everything. The emotional toll sounds immense, desperate hope mixed with total frustration, feeling powerless against this giant, impersonal system.
Yeah, that feeling of your plans just being irrelevant.
Precisely. She talks about her carefully planned life being totally upended by forces she couldn't control. But, and here's the KJ insight, through that specific, incredibly stressful pothole, she learned to let go. She realized planning doesn't guarantee certainty. Sometimes peace comes from adapting, improvising, accepting the inherent messiness.
So the pothole becomes the lesson.
Yes. That experience and others she mentions, like being roped into her cousin's wedding drama while battling a migraine in a missing groom's outfit, or navigating rickshaw rides through pollution, bureaucratic nightmares, even a cab driver saving her from a shady hotel. They aren't just random events. They illustrate life's sheer unpredictability. They turn her specific struggles into a mirror for anyone facing similar crossroads.
So, amidst all this, chaos, these pressures, dramatic pivots, what's the main takeaway? The central message she wants us to get from about life choices and potholes.
I think her central message is incredibly poignant, and it really speaks to where a lot of us are right now. It's this: in a world that demands certainty, I was learning to make peace with uncertainty, one pothole at a time.
Wow. That really sums it up.
It does. It's the whole ethos of the book. It's not about having all the answers or making perfect choices. It's about accepting that life rarely goes to plan and finding strength, maybe even freedom, in that acceptance.
So who is this book really for?
Well, she says it's for anyone who has ever questioned their life choices, career decisions, or the societal script they were handed. And specifically for those of us, Googling how to start over without losing your mind.
I think we've all been there.
Right. She takes these deeply personal struggles and makes them feel universally understood. Her writing here is so direct, honest, with this self-aware humor that makes tough stuff approachable, even reassuring. It's about finding courage in vulnerability, finding peace when things feel unknown.
That is incredibly powerful. It really positions her as someone who gets the modern struggle for purpose and peace when everything feels like it's constantly changing. She turns setbacks into this collective